Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Kalica and you're going to be a mildly spicier person after watching this video. 50 pounds of messy revenge on terrible customers. The context. I used to work at the farm supply store and there were cashiers and loaders who would put the heavy bags of grain and whatnot. The loader in this story we'll call Steve. I'm on mobile, so sorry for my text wall. We had a lot of nasty customers come into where I worked. A lot of the other cashiers would just put up with entitled, rude and sexist people, but Steve, our frickin' saviour, did not. Most of the grain bags we sold were 50 pounds, or more. In the event of a nasty customer, Steve would use his pocket knife and put a small tear in the bag. Small enough to not be noticed, but big enough to completely come apart if the bag was picked up a certain way. He would load the bags into customers' cars, and wait. Eventually, we would get a call, saying that when they took the bags out of their trunks, the bags split, and they now had 50 pounds of grain everywhere. We would respond that we could not, in fact, do a return on the product, since he needed at least 50% of the product to take it back. I no longer work there, and neither does Steve. Honestly, he was one of the only reasons I stayed there as long as I did. Annoying roommate back in college. Back in college I lived in a dorm room. I got assigned one of the most annoying roommates ever. He would always be bragging about himself and how smart and strong he was. Anyway, one day there was a big earthquake. This was Southern California. And after the quake was over for a few hours, he shows up in our dorm room and starts telling me that he's as fast and as nimble as a panther. Not joking. He said that if another big quake ever hit us again, he'd survive because, get this, he'd jump out of the window of our 7th story room and grab onto the tree that was growing outside about 20 feet away while the building crumbled to the ground with me in it. You know what I'd do? I'd jump out the window and grab onto that tree because I'm like a panther. I'm a panther, you see, and I can save myself because I can just grab onto that tree. Whatever, I tell him. Anyway, it's getting late and we both turn in for the night. We share a bunk bed. I'm on the bottom and he's on the top. As if to make it perfectly clear how panther-like he can be, he leaps into the top bunk with one mighty jump. An hour later, he starts snoring and it wakes me up. I get pissed off at him and I'm thinking to myself, this is my chance to get rid of him. So I grabbed the frame of the bunk bed and started shaking it as hard as I could. And you know what happened? That moron woke up and thought it was another big earthquake. And just like he said, he leaped out of bed. Like a panther, I suppose. And instead of jumping out the window like you think he would, he opens the door and runs out into the hallway. Before he gets very far, he hears me laughing like a hyena. If he can be a panther, I can be a hyena. He comes back in and I ask him, why didn't you jump out the window like you said you would? And he says, F you, and then climbs back into bed and pretends nothing happened. Idiot. At least I had a good laugh at his expense. I wouldn't even know what I would do if I was in an earthquake. We don't really get them here. I doubt I'd be anything close to a panther or a hyena. I'd probably be closer to some sort of panicked sloth. Some crappy revenge, but I'm satisfied. I've worked in a dollar store for 2 months now, and there's this one customer in particular who hates me. He rolls his eyes and groans every time I greet him. For the past few times I've seen him, I've been the only cashier on shift, meaning he's stuck with me ringing him up and checking him out. He's never happy to see me. He can be straight up rude as well. For example, he always aggressively tosses his items onto the counter to me, almost causing them to fall off onto my side, always telling me to hurry up and tossing the coins onto the counter to where they do fall off. So he comes in tonight, and my coworker is behind the counter with me, but she had just finished closing her cash register, so I was the only one open. He gets the items he wants and goes over to the closed till, smiling. Apparently he didn't see the box with the sign, "This till is closed." My coworker pointed him to me, and his smile fades as he rolled his eyes. I was not in the mood for his bull. As expected, he aggressively tossed his items onto the counter, and one actually did fall on the floor. I picked it up and he immediately tells me, "Hurry up, I've got stuff to do, lady." I felt my blood boil, and my coworker leaves, to which I'm stuck with dealing with him. So I scan his items and tell him the total. He tosses the $5 bill onto the counter and taps his finger impatiently. I'm so done. I get him his change and look at him dead in the face and say, "Here's your change," and drop it onto the counter, some of it rolling off into the floor. He looks at me and picks it up. I put on a fake smile. "Would you like a small bag, sir?" He sighed and said no. I take his items and drop them in front of him as well. "Have a lovely day." He avoided eye contact and left the store. Wow, I bet there's more of a backstory here though. Like, why did the customer hate OP so much? They're obviously not just a super grumpy person because he was happy enough going to the other coworker. New sweetmate decided my shampoo and toothpaste were free to use. First year of college, I was in the dorms. Our setup was 2 people in a room sharing a bathroom with the 2 people in the adjacent room. First semester went smoothly and we all got along. I had a roommate, but my sweetmate had his room all to himself and it was just the 3 of us using our bathroom. Second semester comes and our sweetmate gets a roommate, so now there's 4 of us using the bathroom. I thought someone moved my toothpaste. Kinda weird. I then took note of exactly where my toothpaste was and it was moved again. I suspected this new roommate might also be using my shampoo and soap, so I marked their levels and showered in my girlfriend's room for a few days, so the levels shouldn't have changed. Well, someone was using my shampoo. I actually got kind of excited because I loved the movie Dirty Work and always wanted to pull some kind of prank on someone who was a jerk, but never really had a good opportunity. I flew to Google to ask Almighty what the best bathroom type pranks were and found 2 that seemed promising. Number 1. Take the cap off the toothpaste and use some glue to seal the end of the tube shut, then put the cap back on, then take a razor and stab your victim. No. Take the razor and very carefully slice the tube of toothpaste lengthwise. This will make the tube explode out the sides when squeezed. Number 2. Add cooking oil to my shampoo. The places I found specifically recommended Winston cooking oil, saying it will stay in the hair the longest. Had to use Winston then. The advice said just to add a little bit so it wasn't noticeable, but it was the same colour as my shampoo, so I replaced almost a quarter of my shampoo bottle with this oil. It was marvellous. I came back to my room one day and someone was using the bathroom, so I turned on the TV and waited for the bathroom to be vacant. I hear them get out of the shower, which was a good sign because my need to use the bathroom was approaching critical mass. About a minute later, I hear a very audible, "Ah, frick. What the frick?" I hear him open and close the door back to his own room, so I rushed into the bathroom myself to read the Bible. Sitting there, I realised there was quite the mess of toothpaste all over the counter, with my sabotaged toothpaste tube in the trash. It worked! What kind of jerk doesn't clean up a mess like that though? The best was my roommate catching him out in the hall. See, my victim had long hair and was about to go to practice for a sport requiring a helmet. The roommate informed me that our thieving sweetmate's hair was absolutely matted to his head, down past his neck onto his shoulders where it made his shirt wet. I explained my plan of revenge and my roommate and I laughed like evil villains far longer than reasonable. Later that night, someone had already added new shampoo, soap and toothpaste to our common bathroom. His hair was solid oil for almost a full week. Okay, so let me see if I get this straight. In American college, you're just kind of thrown into a dorm with another stranger, right? So how does that work for people who are like socially awkward and stuff? But anyway, this guy got exactly what he deserved. The nerve to just use products that you didn't buy is a complete jerk move, and I bet his hair looked absolutely disgusting. Okay, so that's all for r/PettyRevenge. I really hope you did enjoy it. As always, if you do want to see more content like this, then please do subscribe. My Twitter, Discord and Patreon links are in the description, and any support is greatly appreciated. And as it's Sunday, I also want to say a massive thank you to my wonderful patrons. BackwardsDDog, Tyler Miller, Jen Burton, Jen Spanning, Bo Walker, Princess Kate, Skyler A, Elizabeth Filmore, Stephen Arnowitt, Anonymous, Shagar, Koltin, Bruce Reed, and James Scanlan. Thank you all so much for your support. Mwah. That's for you, but keep it between us, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Bye!